Okay. Oh, sorry. This makes me look fat. I don't like this. Okay, so today's Sunday, and I'm going to post the two videos I didn't get a chance to post yesterday. A little abbreviated last night, and anyway, I'm going to go ahead and post them tonight. And Sheila's going to stay up and she's going to post them. Okay, so the next thing that I was thinking that we'd talk about is the plastic people in the world. You know who I'm talking about. They walking around with a bunch of stuff, and their lips and their boobies are big, and they're putting stuff in their butt now, and they're putting stuff on their arms. They're getting their faces, eyes fixed, and they're not even looking at themselves no more. They don't even look in the mirror and see who they was born to be. I mean, there's people that do it drastic. So what I was thinking we'd do is we'd make some money off them. We take those plastic doctors and we're going to make them charge more tax for people that want to look pretty. Because people that want to look pretty, that they really pay a lot of money for that stuff. And you can fly to other countries. You know, you can go get your teeth in Mexico fixed for like 80% less than you can here in the United States. I one time heard about a boy that went down to Mexico and got a bridge canal for like $200, and it cost $2,500. Why do things cost so much cheaper in other countries? You can go to Brazil and get plastic surgery done. What you pay up here for like $25,000, and it's like $2,000 in Brazil. So people go to those other countries and they're spending money on things that we probably should be offering cheaper. And I think that when it comes to surgeries and stuff in the hospital, what they should do is, okay, this surgery costs this much if you're poor, like a bridge canal. We're going to go on how much money you make. And if you're rich, this is how much bridge costs. So poor people don't have to pay $5,000 to get their teeth fixed. They just go on their income. Because the problem is people in this country live on check to check. Some people, if they lose a check, they're not going to, they're going to be broke and they're going to be out in the street. So we need to just bracket this whole thing and say, okay, if you need to have plastic surgery, well, if you only make $30,000 a year, a new boobies are only going to cost $300. If you make $1,000,000 a year, those boobies are going to cost $30,000. If you make $5,000,000 a year, well, those boobies will cost $250,000. Because those people that make more money, they ain't going to have a problem. So, okay, so if you have a kid that goes to the hospital, you have to call the ambulance, and you get to the hospital, and they give the baby drugs, and then they do this, and then maybe they have to cut the leg off or something. Well, when you get the hospital bill, it's like $700,000. Have you ever gotten a hospital bill? I mean, going to the hospital, and I swear to God, if somebody, my family knows, I probably should tattoo it on my forehead. If something happens to me, don't call the ambulance because it costs too much money. It will take me forever to pay for it. So I think what it should be is an ambulance is only going to cost me $40, but it's going to cost that rich person over there living in the country club about $4,000. It's just fair. It's fair. So if I need to get a heart transplant, it's going to cost me $700,000. It's going to cost me $700. And then everybody, I mean, those rich people, they don't got no problem paying it. They're rich. But people who are poor, we owe those, and then our credit goes bad. We never have a chance to get rich because, first of all, our credit's bad. You're never going to be able to buy a business. You're never going to be able to get a loan to start a business. You're never going to be able to do nothing because you got all this bad credit that was created by the people at the doctors. So I just think if something happens and we can't get those doctors that $1,000,000 to make it where there's free health care, there needs to be a bracket for poor people, middle people that are rich people, then the filthy rich people, then the dirty, filthy rich people like the Bill Gates and the Oprahs. Now, that Oprah's not going to have no problem paying $1,000,000 for boobies if she wants them. I mean, even though I don't think she needs them, I'm just saying. So it needs to be fair. Everybody's going to pay their share of what their boobies are going to cost, or whatever it is. So let's move on. Now, I think that there's a lot of things in this world that we can look at and make a difference. But we need to know where the difference is coming from. So, that means if a politician wants to go out and take one of those fancy planes and go on a trip, he needs to pay for it himself. I think I heard one time there was like $100 billion a year being wasted on those fancy business people and the politicians that gets to go on trips, and it's just wasting money because they want to fly first class in a private plane instead of just regular plane. Now, I think that if they Congress people, they should be able to sit right next to me. And the president, I don't have a problem with him having a plane. But does he need a big old plane like that? Why can't he have just a small plane? Because where's he flying from one place to another? A little small plane's going to get you further anyway. You don't need a fancy room and an office in those planes. So I think that if I'm gonna get, if I when the president, I'm gonna get a smaller plane. It takes less gas. So moving into the way, sorry, people spend money on that kind of stuff is ridiculous. You can't. I mean, poor people can't even fly nowhere. So I mean, look at that too. Going back to the other issue, you're gonna be able to fly. Well, how much you live on? Poor people don't fly because they can't afford it. But if it goes on their income, they're gonna fly. So you have a lot more people flying places instead of driving their damn gremlin down the street. They're gonna fly to Dallas instead of driving. I mean, it's all the people. I mean, good Lord, girls, if y'all want to meet someone rich, take an airplane. Just save $500 and take an airplane and go to New York, and you're gonna meet somebody. Hotels, meals at restaurants. I mean, what might cost me $3 for a steak is going to cost someone else $50 for a steak. And I think that the poor people will get out and buy more stuff. It's just they can't afford it. So getting back onto the airplane, as far as the president's concerned, we need to put a stop to these politicians traveling around and using our money and have vacations. I mean, the president went to Hawaii for Christmas for 2 weeks, and that place cost like $5 million. Who's paying for it? I mean, who is paying for that bill? We are. Okay, moving on to the whole government. I'm going to make some changes. I don't need my salary to be no $1 million a year. You can just pay me $30,000. And anybody who works for me, answer my phone, you can just pay them $8 an hour. They don't need to make $100,000. It's ridiculous. So, if I win president, when I win president, I've learned, and I didn't know this, that I'm going to get a lifetime salary of like $1 million or $2 million or $10 million. If you win the Senate, you get lifetime pension and health care, the best health care money can buy for a lifetime. So if I run for senator, I'm going to forever get money from the government. If you go to work at Piggly Wiggly and you lose your job, you lose your insurance. And you lose your paycheck. If these senators and the governors and all these Congress people lose their job because we elect someone else, I think that we need to cut them off. They ain't getting another dime of our money. Because how many congressmen and senators and representative people, all these other people, mayors, and probably people in the police department, these government workers, they're getting lifetime health care whenever they're fired. Whenever you don't elect them, it's the same thing as being fired, except we're firing them, not the government. So we need to stop this. Now, I don't have a problem with me getting some money, like $30,000 a year, for the rest of my life, but think about how much time and money it goes into those people that's protecting me. I don't need a protection. If I put the gun law into control, I protect myself. I don't need a secret service. I'll do it on my own. And if I can't protect myself, well, by God, then I guess I shouldn't be living anyway. It was my time to go. So I just think that this is ridiculous. We need to stop these people I mean, good Lord, Billy Bob from down the street could run for Congress or run for some office, and he's going to get a lifetime worth of money. And why don't they tell us how much money it is? Why is it a secret? I'm sure so many of you people are sitting out there today wondering, well, I didn't know that happened. I didn't know people got all that kind of money. Well, they do, people. There's a conspiracy that they don't want us to know about, that they're keeping from us, and we need to take control and say, no, you got fired, your pension is gone. Now, I can understand if there's a congressperson that worked for 50 years or 30 years and retired on his own, that he could get the pension. I think that's okay, because he retired, but not someone who didn't win another election. I think that's ridiculous. I do, in my personal opinion. I mean, because we're giving money away for nothing. I would like to know, why don't they tell us how much money that the government is giving out to past workers that used to work for us in the Congress? I want to know how much Bill Clinton's getting paid, and why is he making anything? He's going around in movies, and he's doing his own book, and he's making his own money. He shouldn't get no money from the government. I mean, forever. He's getting it forever. I mean, his wife's getting it. Who knows? Maybe his daughter's getting it. You know? And I honestly think whenever they have a wedding at the White House, that they should have to pay for it with their own money. Now, the Obama Michelle lady, she's buying the J. Crew stuff, the cheap stuff. I do respect her for that. But there's times that I see her in fancy hats and fancy shoes. Well, I'm sorry, my money shouldn't have to go to pay for it. She needs to pay for it herself. She needs to go get a job at the Piggly Wiggly. Because she just drives around. She didn't get elected. Her husband did. And she's going around the country making money. Does she get a paycheck? Why don't they tell us these things? So, another thing I think that we need to cover. If they're making gas so expensive, why don't they make some kind of train that goes from every town in every state and every county, and we could hop on it and go from one town to the other to save money? Why don't they do that? I mean, like an electric train. It ain't going to cost all that gas. Let's start preparing now for the gasoline crisis. We should have started building electric trains 100 years ago when electricity was first invented. Then all this problem with gas wouldn't be a problem. You get on this little train. Whenever it comes to your town, it goes like 2.5 miles an hour. You can just step on it really calmly. And as soon as it gets out of town, everybody has a chance to get onto it at their street. And they hop onto it. And then when it gets out of town, it goes 200 miles an hour to the next town. Now, and then the next town, it slows down. So where if you need to get off, go to the bathroom, you can get back on the train. And it's long. It just keeps going in one big circle. I mean, and then it'll be easier. And this gas problem, we need to address this. This gas problem is getting to be expensive. So, I think the last thing that I really think that we need to cover is really how many workers it takes in America to keep this city governments working. The male people that work for us, they're not doing a good job. They are doing a bad job because no one's using the mail system no more. They're using UPS, Yellow Blue, Airfare, and what's that other one? FedEx. And FedEx and them are faster, and it costs more money. So honestly, I think that we probably need to look at maybe downsizing the mail system because the government's losing money on it. They're losing money. And we can just go to electronic mail. Now, we need to address these issues on a daily basis. And I'm working on my speech for my first platform event. And whenever I speech it to people, I'm going to address it probably this week, and I want to talk about we the people and what the people and who we are, because some people don't know who we are. So, Thank you for listening. I appreciate everything you're doing and telling all your friends. Thank you so much for listening and helping me be the next president, like the 69th president of the United States. Thank you.